The road to nature 2.0, self-actualization. So what we have here today, we're basically in the path towards a hackathon event, and it's going to happen in the Netherlands somewhere in April. And to do that, we are organizing a track called Nature 2.0. And because this is a very big concept and quite revolutionary or a little bit more experimental, we decided to divide it up in a few sessions so that everybody's on board and kind of know what we're talking about. So all in order to prepare you guys have, if you want to join the hackathon or just want to learn something more, and at least you have a little bit of luggage on your back. And so the thing we're going to do today is we're going to talk about self-actualization. How can we make natural resources, robots, non-human agents, or corporations or collaborations, how can we make them more smart and more autonomous? So I'm going to give you a bit of a recap of what we did in the last sessions. In the first session, we were talking about plugged in. So here we're talking about connecting machines, natural resources, and other types of entities that are non-human into a collaborative substrate, a common substrate. We're using decentralized technologies. Blockchain is one of them. And we had a few interesting speakers, and every speaker there actually has a piece of technology that they want to offer into this hack. So definitely want to check out things like Interlinked, Weave, Xane, and of course, our stuff about Ocean Protocol. And in this first session, and you can find material online, I guess, there we're talking about decentralized access control. How do we orchestrate access through smart contracts, to policies, smart policies, such that machines, natural resources can be connected into a blockchain style setup. Then the last session was about the hive mind, where we're looking at public intelligence. Basically, these are collaborative communities with a technological layer in order to make data and artificial intelligence and robots accessible um, to basically anyone that wants to participate. So going away from a silo into more data pods, any type of tokenized ecosystem. So here we had technology stack from Parrot. They were showing off how you can install Parity nodes, how you can code smart contracts in a language called WASM. We had Parakvo, I never know exactly how to pronounce it, but it was about water hives and sustainable collaboration on water resources. Hotbot, they create a little robot that has basic functionality like light seeking, just a little robot. Only it's going to look for a light source, but if you have multiple of them, there's some emerging group behavior. Krya, which won previous blockchain hackathon, they basically made a hive mind of drones using Raspberry Pis and BigChain. And then we were talking about Ocean Protocol, how we have something called service agreements in order to unlock data and AI in a bigger network. But now, today, we'll be looking at the top of the pyramid of self-actualization, and that's basically how can we create entities that are non-human, autonomous. They can connect with resources, so they can receive payment, they can basically consume products and services, and they run by themselves. So there's not really a human guardian, but they're self-actualized to a certain degree. So here's a few examples if you kind of think like, oh, that's kind of weird. One of the things that we're going to discuss today is about decentralized autonomous organizations and agents. So I'm going to give you a few examples. One of them is it's called Moloch. It's a recent decentralized autonomous organization for funding. For funding, basically development of common infrastructure. In this case, the Moloch type would be funding Ethereum, but we have somebody from DAO Stack telling how you set up this kind of. Another thing that's quite interesting is looking at self-owned resources. Basically, having something, you can look this up. There's a tree that owns itself. Basically, this is somebody in the 1800s had very good childhood memories about the tree, and he gave the ownership title of the property, the land, to the tree. So Clement will be talking about how does this legal interplay and incentives, how can you make such autonomous resources happen in the real world? And then there's also autonomous artists, for example, are autonomous, and there's a few others, and these are artificial intelligence based AI artists. So creative AI with the ability to sell works and to receive funds for them. So again, in both of these, or in all of these, you will find that there is no human guardian controlling the resource or basically being in charge. So, a bit of an overview for today. We're gonna have first, I don't know, the order might be a bit different, but we're gonna have a talk from DAOstack about real DAO communities from Nate Rackman. And then we're going to have Clement Bihora about Nature 2.0 and incentives. Then Gene Kogan is going to tell us what's happening if you have artificial intelligence, arts, and autonomy connected to each other. And then finally, Elad is going to pick it up a notch and talk about algorithms that are self-sovereign, free range, and evolving. That last might be a bit more philosophical, but yeah, I'm very much looking forward. Also, one more thing, because we support this community very much, what we have is a little raindrop from Ocean. So if you send an email to raindrops@oceanprotocol.com and you fill in the subject nature to self-actualization, include your first name, last name, and location before 11 p.m., then you get a few Ocean tokens assigned to your wallet. So that's it for me. I hope you have a great time. I'll have to unfortunately catch a flight, but yeah, floor is to the first speaker.